Both the men and women split their road trip through northern Alabama. We discuss what kind of shape both teams are in heading into a two-game home stretch. Now that the weather is warming up, let's start playing some baseball and softball. They both start this week. Plus, we talk with Moter Deng, who's having a monster senior season. Hear his story today on Argos Sports Weekly. Welcome into Argo Sports Weekly. So much to get to this week, so let's get to it with women's basketball as we welcome in women's head coach Stephanie Lawrence Yelton. Coach, thanks for being on with us. You split a road trip like that in this conference this time of the year. You kind of take that, won't you?
Yeah, I think anytime you can go 1-1 on the road, that's a good weekend. It's tough in women's basketball in the GSC, and that's what we faced last weekend.
Well, it was a tough one at North Alabama. That's a good team, though.
It is. They are a phenomenal team this year, and I think for them, again, they're trying to put that exclamation point on their season. This is their last year in the GSC. They're moving into Division I next year, and so they really want to finish strong this year in the GSC. But they are phenomenal. They've got great shooters on the perimeter. They've got some good post players that can get it done inside. They can lock you down on defense. They're a tough team.
So let's take a look, and you guys kind of got off to a quick start. You know, it was a great start. Courtney with a nice block shot down there in the post.
Yeah, defensively, I thought we did pretty well early in the game. It was just our shots were not falling. I think we missed our first 12 shots offensively, and for us, that was just a confidence, just energy drainer. And so to have our kids get re-pumped up and try to play was difficult.
We saw the three from Emma Wallen. She ended up with 26 points, 6 threes, and then a great rebound there by Shami. Then she goes coast to coast. Here's Jay Davis. That's some big points.
Yeah, Jade stepped in. They actually played off of Jade, and, we were playing 5 versus 4 there for a little bit, and so Jade had to step in and really make some good shots.
Courtney with a good move in the paint down in the low post, and then Jade with another nice drive there. And here's Antoinette Williams. That's a great drive from her, and then the and one.
She is, and if we can see her do more and more of that for the rest of the season, I think, again, she gives us a viable, sub off the bench in that point guard spot.
And then Shaniqua McGee with the nice jumper there just past the free throw line. Unfortunately, came up a little short on that one. 83-51 the final there. That's a good team, but you guys had a chance to bounce back against Huntsville 2 days later. It's kind of nice after a game like that to have a quick turnaround so you can put it out of your mind pretty quick, isn't it?
No doubt. I didn't sleep very much those nights before that Huntsville game, trying to game prep and get our team ready. But the nice thing about getting into that Huntsville game was we had Haley Neiman back. She was out with an ankle injury in the North Alabama game. So it kind of helped stabilize our substitution rotations and get our kids kind of back in the groove of playing the positions that they normally play.
Well, and Haley certainly looked good in this game, too. She went to the sideline a couple of times, still kind of working over that ankle, but she looked a lot better.
She didn't practice for 7 days coming up to this game. I mean, not even being able to shoot free throws, and to finish the game with 20 points, it's amazing.
Quick three there from UAH. They dominated the first quarter, but then you guys came back. Shami hits the long two, and then way out from 3 there.
Yeah, we were able to just find our groove offensively from the perimeter, and then we started penetrating and either scoring or getting fouled, and started to score with the clock stopped on the free throw line. So went 20 of 21 from the foul line. That was a great night.
Lauren Foster hit that 3, put them up 52-50 with 2 minutes left. Bistro comes down, hits the late 3, and then Bell again, the transition layup kind of put things out of reach.
Oh, yeah. And, I thought our players executed very well down the stretch. We got some great defensive stops and just were able to pull it out.
And they fired up the 3. Didn't matter at the end of the game. You guys were able to get the good win there, 66-64 the final in that one. Haley, 20 points in that game to go with 8 rebounds.
Yeah, it was great to have her back. She's an energizer bunny for us on the court, and so when she's there, our other players feed off of that energy, and we're just a better team with her on the floor.
Shami had a good game as well. 3 steals to go with 13 points.
Oh, yeah, she was all over the place defensively, hands, in passing lanes, and when she gets steals, she's pushing it on the other end.
And some big points from Amani as well. It was a busy week for you. There's plenty to discuss, not just basketball, and some big games coming up this week. So we've got more with Coach coming up, plus we'll preview this weekend's games at the UWF Fieldhouse. We've got big games Thursday and Saturday. More with Coach Yelton next.
We will never settle for the kiddie pool. We are destined for the vast ocean of opportunities that await us. We were born to make a splash, At the University of West Florida, you can make a discovery, make a difference, make a splash. So take a deep breath and dive in. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
We will welcome you back, and we welcome back Coach Stephanie Lawrence Yelton as we talk women's basketball. Last week was kind of a fun week for you. You got to go back home for a couple of days.
Yeah, I went home to visit with my high school coach. He's in his 50th year of coaching and on the verge of retirement, so it was his last home game. And we got about 50 alumni together to go support him in that last home game.
Kind of a reunion for you guys.
Oh, amazing. I hadn't seen some of those women in over 20 years, and Coach McCullough's just a great influence in my life. I've had the fortunate experience to play under him he's won 910 wins right now in his career, 4-time state champions, 4-time state coach of the year. 1 year was a national coach of the year at the high school level. And then, of course, my experience at North Carolina working under Hall of Fame coach Sylvia Hatchell. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been blessed to play under those coaches, so it was nice to go back and support him in this last year.
Oh, I bet that's a great turnout. You said there were a ton of players that were back there. I mean, that had to feel good for him too.
Oh yeah, definitely. He was surprised. He didn't know that was going to be that big of a turnout. Mm-hmm. But the stories were great. Reminiscing about how he conducted himself with us on the sidelines is a lot different than the way he conducts himself now on the sidelines, and he knows that, and we think it's funny as players. But again, exceptional coach. A very important mentor in my life, and just to be back to support him in that 50th year of coaching basketball, amazing.
That's incredible. Well, good. That's great that you're able to get back and do that. That's a lot of fun, especially in the middle of a season. Maybe recharges you a little bit, refreshes you here for this final stretch. You've got a couple of big games at home this weekend. First up is Lee. Now, right now they're fourth place in the GSC, third place in the GSC. This is a tough team. Yeah,
third place in the GSC. We're sitting in fourth, tied with Valdosta in that fourth place spot. We went in the tiebreaker right now, so it's a huge game for us. We played Lee pretty well at their place. We had about a 3 or 4 minute stretch in the fourth quarter where we just went scoreless, and that was the difference in the game. But we played a good basketball game at their place. So I'm excited to see what we're going to do against them here on Thursday.
You talk about right now sitting in fourth place. This is a big point of the season, too, because fourth place is where you want to be. You want to be in those top 4 spots.
Yeah, we're always pushing for one of those top 4 spots to get the home side advantage, in the GSC tournament for that first round, but also just to finish well in the season. And again, I keep saying the GSC and women's basketball is so tough this season. There are 5, 6, 7 teams that are just really good basketball teams. And so every night is competitive. Being at home helps us, obviously. We like to be at home. I think we shoot the ball better at home. We play a little bit more energized at home. So it'll be nice to be here this weekend.
Well, you talked about you guys went through a little bit of a shooting lull the first time you played them. That's because their defense, I'm sure, is so good. But they can shoot it as well.
They are. They're a team that's going to spread you out. They've got some great shooters on the perimeter. Aaron Walsh is one of the top scorers in our conference and one of the best three-point shooters that I've seen. So we've got to make sure that we keep her in check. But they've got a great post player in Carrie Cheeks. She does a great job inside for them. So if we let her just dominate in the paint, then we've got to be able to come down and match those scores.
What's the shorter matchup look like Saturday?
The shorter matchup, they're a feisty, physical team. Again, they're a little bit lower in the rankings in the GSC right now, but they're a team that has beaten some good teams this year. So we'll see what happens. I think that Lee game, it'll be interesting to see how we play against Lee and then how we can bounce back and come 2 days later and play another difficult team.
Well, 2 big games this weekend. Coach, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. Baseball and softball get started this week. We'll take a sneak peek at both teams. Plus, you don't want to miss my chat with Moter Deng. That's coming up next. This is Argo Sports Weekly on the UWF Sports Network.
We are not here to drift. We were born to move, to change, to jump in, dive deep, make waves, break through. We were born to splash. The University of West Florida is America's best university for making a splash. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
Welcome back to Argo Sports Weekly. The Argo softball team is coming off a trip to the College World Series. After coming up short, they have high hopes for this season with a quality mix of newcomers and fresh faces.
The thing I like the most is we have got some experience. We've got a lot of returners. Our whole infielders returning will be new in the circle and behind the plate, which will be, a good transition for us to work some new people in there. But I think they're ready, and some new people are looking to take over the reins.
A lot of work over the off season, workouts at least 3 times a week, practice 5 days a week. We've all been working our butts off all off-season, getting ready for our first games.
Coach Rank has done a great job with them in there. They bring it every day when they get in there. It's fun to watch them. That's a place where they take care of business, no doubt. They have fun in there, but they get a lot done. In the fall that's their in-season in there, and so they work really hard in there. We have a lot of new faces. A lot of freshmen came in, so that brings a lot of energy to us and a lot of getting those girls together in the chemistry. So we did that. We built that a lot in the off-season. We have Sarah Maloney returning as our senior. She had, postseason experience last year and did very well for us. And then we've got 3 new girls to help her.
I want to be a part of helping them get back to the World Series because I know that they want it very badly, and so do I. So. And I think we definitely have the tools to do it.
They're very hungry, they are, but they also know it's a long road. I hope they do. I keep reminding them that it's going to take, day by day, and it's going to be a long road back there if we don't take care of the little things and do those things. That it's going to be an even longer road back there.
On the other side of the complex, Mike Jeffcoat and the baseball team have put last season's disappointment in the rearview mirror. The revamped Argos have high hopes for 2018.
We are rebuilding a little bit, lost a lot of seniors. We were disappointed with our season. I know our seniors were disappointed last year with their performance and how it panned out. So it's unique in the fact that we are re-energized with a lot of new players, brought in a lot of JUCO guys that we feel like can be impact players right away. So what we really focused on was trying to get more depth. We lost a couple guys to injuries last year and really didn't have the depth to, withstand that. And so we think we're in a good position to handle a lot of those things. We built the pitching staff with some depth. We don't have any real dominant arms. We've got guys that we feel has got great pitching ability and get outs, and that's what's important. We have 7 lefties and about 8 right-handers, and really there wasn't a plan to get that many lefties. It just kind of fell in our lap. Were guys we liked when we were out recruiting that fit our plan and what we were looking for with pitchability and being able to mix speeds, and they happen to be left-handers. We've got some versatile players that can play different positions. Right now we're trying to see where we can get our best defense out there and then build the offense around that. I really like our middle. All the way around where we plugged in, we've got Nick Strasser back at second base. Lost him the 1st of April to a non-throwing shoulder injury. He's back, and we're excited to have him back healthy. We plugged in some new guys in the middle, Jones and Bend at third, and we have a guy, Mason Dennison, that can play the infield and outfield, and we're playing him in the outfield today. Nick Kirkman's back. He can play first, he can play some outfield, he can play a little bit of second. He's done that through his career, picking us up when we've had some injuries, but we know we need his bat in the lineup. 4-year starter for us. And so the options are fun, but they're also a little bit stressful right now, trying to make sure we do the right thing. Our goal is to try to be the best team in the region and see if we can host a regional that gives you that little bit of home field advantage and, maybe a little edge to get to the World Series. Our goal in this program is to try to get to the World Series. It's very tough to do in the South region. There's a number of teams that can get there every year. Got to have a little luck, got to avoid the injury bug, and then bottom line, the guys got to go out and perform and be a true team.
Moter Deng put up 24 last game against UAH. He's averaging 14 a game, and he's the second leading scorer on the Argos team. On top of all that, he's sitting right next to me here in studio. Welcome, man. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good, good. What a year you're having. You had a good year last year. You really kind of took over after Austin went down. How much did that experience help you for this season?
That experience helped me a lot. It gave me a lot more confidence going into the season since I already had a year under my belt with Coach Burkhamer.
You talk about the confidence. You seem like a much more confident player. You look like a completely different player this year. What really made the biggest difference for you?
In the summer, I decided to stay here in the summer and get some extra work with some of my teammates. Rashawn was here in the summer, so I got to work with him, and that's our starting point guard, so we built a lot of chemistry together.
Did you work out a lot? It seems like you're a little more physical this year.
Yeah, I worked out a little bit. I could have worked out a little bit more, but I was mainly focused on basketball and being in the right positions.
This is your last season. Do you kind of use that as some motivation?
Yeah, Coach tells us to play every game like it's our last game, and we're seniors, so every game is going to be basically like our last game.
This is a special team. What you guys are doing, no team No men's basketball team has ever made the tournament before. Do you guys kind of keep that in mind, and is that a goal you're really playing for, knowing how significant that is?
Yeah, that was actually one of our team goals, was to make the national tournament and try to break some records here for the school. So
You were telling me before we got started today that your family is really important. Talk about the importance of family in your life, especially being over here in the States.
Well, family first and everything for me personally. I have two families, I'm blessed to have two families. I have my adopted family and my birth family. So I'm blessed to have both of them, and I try to talk to them as much as I can.
That's awesome. Well, you spent a lot of time up in Chicago. I got to ask, did you have a favorite Chicago pizza joint you went to up there?
Gino's East.
Ah,
I like Gino's East.
Good choice. That was the right answer. Nice work. Well, Moter, thanks so much for stopping by. Obviously having a good year. I know you guys want to finish strong, so how do you guys kind of finish out the season the way you started it?
I think we got to focus game by game. We don't need to look ahead during the season. We got to focus on the next game. So Lee's our next game.
You got some big ones coming up this weekend, man. Thanks so much for stopping by. Appreciate it. Nice job. The men edged out North Al before dropping a tight one with Alabama Huntsville. Jeff Burkhamer is along to talk about those next.
The world is our ocean, and we are here to make a splash, to dive deep, to create, to develop, to break through. At the University of West Florida, there's no limit to how you can make a splash. Don't just sit on shore, jump in. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And welcome back into Argo Sports Weekly as we shift our focus now to men's basketball. And we welcome in Argonaut men's head coach Jeff Burkhamer. It was really not a bad road trip. You guys ended up splitting. Obviously, you wanted to win both games. You had a chance to win both games. But, going on the road, especially this time of the year, guys start to get worn down. A lot of times you'll take a split on the road in this conference.
Well, we got a split. We could have lost both. We could have won both. So against two good teams, both hard-fought, close games.
And it just goes to show you again how tough this conference is. And it seems like after UAH that's a program, they've got a lot of youth, but it seems like they're getting a lot better as the season goes.
They've gotten better as the season has gone. Plus, they're a team that traditionally has been good. They do a good job with their system of play. And they played very, very well, especially in the second half.
Well, let's start with North Alabama. That's a place that can be difficult to play, and that's a team that can be tricky to beat from time to time. But you guys went there, took care of business. Rashawn Benson, nice move as he pulls up there at the free throw line.
Rashawn was big in this game. We thought he could play off ball screens and give them some issues, and he was able to do that.
Love that fadeaway right there from Marvin Jones to knock it down.
Tough move to defend.
Tied at 27, and Daryl Tucker just doing what he does.
Daryl had an unbelievable weekend offensively. He went 10 of 10 in one of the games and 6 of 6 in the other. So incredible job offensively.
Of course, those dunks are pretty high percentage shots, too.
Those are good shots for him to get.
Got the rebound here, and then the kick out. Offensive boards keeping possessions alive, and it turns into 3 points right there for Marvin Jones.
Yeah, Marvin shot the ball well against North Alabama. Really helped us win the game.
DJ from the outside. Nice drive and dunk.
Yeah, DJ has gotten so much better offensively and really had a good move there. Great job by Henry Ventimini. Nice pass, big to big for a basket.
And then late at the end of the game, final seconds, big missed free throw, gives them a chance. They go down. Probably didn't exactly get the shot they wanted with a hand in the face, but it's off the mark. Still not a bad look in that situation. You guys hold on and win a tight one at North Al.
Yeah, I mean, we had Marvin at the line, and we thought we were in pretty good shape, and we missed the free throws, and they ended up getting a decent look. I thought we did a pretty good job of getting back, at least making them change their shot and think about us defensively.
Well, it was a big win. Gives you a little momentum, especially it was nice to bounce back after the tough game against AUM. Nice to get back in the win column on the road, too.
Well, on the road against a team that's hard to play against. They had a great environment to play in there. Really hurt us early in the game with their big people. The McGee kid really had a great game. So the second half, we went with two bigs. We played Tucker and Ventimini together, and really did a much better job on the glass.
Talk about Darryl Tucker. You mentioned it. He was 10 for 10 from the floor. A historic performance. There was only one better perfect night. I think a guy went 11 for 11 a few years back. So a huge night for him. Plus he put up 27. Just kind of good to see him get out of his funk that he was in for a little bit.
Really played well. Thought he was very, very active, both ends of the floor. Rebounded the ball well, got rebounds out of his area. And then was able to finish play. So really happy Darryl got back to playing well.
77-76, 2 days later, it was up to Huntsville, Alabama. That is always a difficult place to play, isn't it?
Tough place to play. Another good environment. But I thought we went out the first half. We were terrific. We played very, very well. We shot the ball well and really got off to a great start.
And that was Thorpe for the three. This time Thorpe would find Moter Deng out on the wing. Another three ball from him. You guys really shot it well in the first half.
We shot it great in the first half and really played well in the first half, attacked them well and really defended well.
And then great feed from Shalafo. How about that from Darryl Tucker?
Another good high percentage shot for us.
No doubt. You get Moter Deng. That's a move he didn't have a year ago.
Moter has really stepped his game up. He's good faced up playing. And another nice move here. He can go both ways. He can post, he can step out, he can shoot a three. Really done a good job.
Darryl Tucker proving he doesn't have to be in dunk range. He can still knock down a short jumper.
Darryl's a pretty good shooter and probably one of our better shooters faced up.
Brian Shalafo, once he starts to heat up from outside, boy, he's deadly, isn't he?
I thought Brian had a good game. He really shot the ball well, shot the ball like we think he can shoot it.
Ended up with 12 points in that game. Of course, Moter Deng, the big day, 24. Then inside, Tucker again, nice move, got the bucket there late. And then great ball movement here. You talk about being able to move the ball around, and then Jones can drive.
Yep.
That's one. It seems like when the offense is going well, you're moving it around pretty well.
Yeah, when we've got different guys who can score it, different guys can shoot it, and we're helping each other score, we're much better.
Crazy possession there at the end. It's a 2-point game. A lot of opportunities and offensive rebounds to keep that alive, and then they just went down and made the free throws.
Well, we did a great job there of getting offensive rebounds and kicking it to shooters. Rashawn hits a big shot to put us up with about 9 seconds left, and we got a timeout there and got them stopped initially, and then the second time they inbounded the ball, they got a run out. We made a defensive mistake, and they ended up getting a quick run out to the rim. We had to foul, and they had a 90% free throw shooter at the rim at the foul line, and he makes the free throws, and unfortunately we come away with a loss.
Yeah, probably the best big at shooting free throws in the conference. Unfortunately, it didn't end how you wanted. Still a wild game that one was, and now you turn your attention to 2 big home games, and this is, you've only got 3 home games left. You guys have played well, but where you're at in the conference right now, only 3 losses, you're still in second place. I kind of feel like you guys are still in a pretty good spot.
Well, we're in a good spot. We just need to finish strong. That's why these 2 games this week are so important. We got to take care of ourselves at home. We still got 3 at home and 4 on the road, so we know we have to play really well at home and then find ways to win when we go away.
Well, he said it. Each game is huge now, and Lee is next, followed by Shorter. We look ahead with Coach Burkhamer next. This is Argo Sports Weekly, the UWF Sports Network.
We are not here to drift. We were born to move, to change, to jump in, dive deep, make waves, break through. We were born to splash. The University of West Florida is America's best university for making a splash. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Well, as we get down the stretch here, every game is vital, and we've got 2 big ones coming up, but it's such a tough part of the season. First of all, guys are starting to get tired. Second of all, you've got teams that are fighting for their playoff lives. You've got teams jockeying for position in the standings, so everybody's locked in. It just makes this stretch of the season even more difficult than it would normally be, doesn't it?
Well, this is where your best teams don't give in to being tired. You can't be tired. You got to play through. You got big games coming up. We've got 2 big ones this week with Lee and Shorter, and we've got to take care of business at home.
We'll talk about Lee. They're up first. They're tied for 5th right now, just on the verge of being in that 4th place spot. In this conference, there's a big difference between 4th place and 5th place.
Well, we found that out last year. We finished tied for 4th and lost the tiebreaker and had to go on the road. So it's really important you get one of those top 4 spots to get a home game in the first round of the tournament, and that's what Lee's fighting for right now. We're still fighting for things with the conference and with the region, and they're still fighting for things with the conference tournament. So we know that they're going to be excited about playing us. You know, they beat us at their place, a game that we had a chance to win. We went 8 of 18 from the foul line, hurt ourselves in that game, but we know it's an important game for us and it's an important game for them.
Well, when you're in my possession, you look at a situation like that and think, well, it's hard to beat a team twice in a season. So the fact that you guys lost there bodes well this time around. I'm sure you don't look at it necessarily the same way. What did you guys learn about them that first time around?
Well, they're a very well-coached team. They spread you out. They make you guard. We've got to do a great job of being patient defensively and then at the same time putting some pressure on them, not allowing them to be comfortable running their offense. And then we got to go to the other end and be very good offensively. Make sure we get shots we want for the right guys.
Seems like the narrative is you're out to get revenge in a game like this, a game you felt like you should have won at their place. Does that play a factor with the guys much, or is it just another game and you know how important each game is?
I think probably a little bit of both. I think we probably want to find a way to beat them after losing at their place. We actually have lost at their place the same way 3 straight years on a last possession play. So it's an important game, and to win at home, you've got to take care of your home games, and you know the things that we're fighting for are important to our players. So I think guys will come out and play very hard. What are some of the matchups in this matchup, I guess, to kind of keep an eye on? Well, they play a lot of guys. They don't really have 1 or 2 go-to guys. It's a different player each night. I think they only have 1 player averaging double figures. They lead the league in defensive field goal percentage, three-point defensive field goal percentage. So we've got to do a good job of attacking them, making sure we get shots we want, and then on the other end, just be patient defensively. I don't think there's a certain matchup. We should be able to do some things to them inside with our big guys to take advantage of our size, but it'll be another hard-fought game. Then you've got Shorter on the heels of that game coming up Saturday at the Fieldhouse. Shorter's beaten some good teams this year. Well, when you go to West Alabama and win, and you beat Delta, you're doing some things right. And I know they're at the bottom of the conference right now, but you better play every game in this league. You know, I was listening to Coach Huggins talk about the Big 12 being bottomless. It's kind of like our league. There's not really any bad teams in our league, and you better play very well every night to have a chance to win. And that's going to be the same way on Saturday. They've got guys that can score the basketball, and if you give them some confidence and let them hang around, you can have some issues. So, you know, we need to come out and take the game to them early on Saturday and make sure they know we're here to play. I feel like a loss isn't in vain if you learn something from it. I feel like you guys have kind of learned that lesson this season. The guys have figured that out, that you can't take any games off. You really can't. I mean, it comes down to one-possession games. We talk about it all the time, whether it be an offensive possession, a defensive possession. You have to play every possession like it's the last. And if you win more possessions, you'll probably win more games. Are you starting to see the guys, I guess, kind of buy into that a little bit more? Well, I think they're starting to understand it. Usually when you lose by 1 possession to get your attention, and you know, you figure out, well, what coach is talking about might be true. So I think they know that. They know every possession is important, and going down the stretch here, we have to play that way. You look at it and you think about the 3 losses, and it may be salt in the wound me asking you this, but you look at it, the fact that they're by a combined 5 points shows you just how close you are to being undefeated. When it comes down to postseason time, are things like that factored in? Well, I think they're looked at. You know, within our region, there's a lot of good teams. And you look at the SIAC right now, they got 4 teams with 1 loss. So we know that's a league that's probably going to get 3 or 4 bids. And then you got the Sunshine's got a couple good teams there with good records. So that's why it's so important that you understand every possession has to be played as hard as you can play it. And both ends of the floor. You got to be really efficient offensively, and you got to be tough defensively, be able to close out possessions. And you know, hopefully down the stretch we'll be able to do those things. And in the 3 losses, Tommy, it really has been free throw shooting. You know, 8 of 18 in one, 9 of 19 in another, and then in the Huntsville game we go 4 of 9, but they make 16. Right. So it's been free throw shooting really in all 3 losses that we have to do a better job with. Well, it's been fun to be at the Fieldhouse lately. The crowds have grown, and I think a lot of that has to do with folks are starting to understand that this team is on the verge of something special that's never happened in program history before. Are the players starting to understand that a little bit? Well, we still have a lot of things to play for. I mean, there's a lot of things still out there over these next 7 games, over the next month for us to play for, hopefully into postseason play. I think the players kind of understand that. They know they want to play well. And then I think our fans are figuring out this is a fun team to watch. We've got some really good athletes that play hard, and if they come, they'll have a good time watching our guys.
Talk to some people that agree with me that a good Division II game sometimes is a little better pure basketball than what you might see at the Division I, even because it's more of a team game. I feel like, which makes it a lot of fun to watch.
Well, basketball to this level is a Division I basketball with a Division II title in it. I would take our team against many Division Is and go head to head with them and not worry about it.
No doubt. Well, good luck this weekend, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week after a couple more wins.
Sounds great. Thanks.
All right. It is a busy time with Argo Athletics. To stay dialed in, go to goargos.com and keep up to date. Baseball gets started this weekend down in Lakeland. Softball is just over in Gulf Shores starting Friday. Men's and women's basketball are home Thursday night starting at 5:30. Saturday's hoops doubleheader tips at 2. The weekend games will air on Choice 106.9 FM, WRNE 980 AM. For Jeff, Stephanie, and Moter Deng and our entire crew, I'm Tommy Thrall. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.